Hello, dear friends. This is Kardec Radio at 11 p.m., nourishing our souls with one more program, Hope and Light. We're on the countdown to Christmas, and this Christmas is all about, as always, the celebration of the coming of the Christ. Did you know that there was a plan for millennia on the coming of the Christ? Read more about it in the book On the Way to the Light by Emmanuel through Chico Xavier. In that book, which is pretty much the history of humanity under the light of Spiritism, in the first paragraphs, we have the beautiful revelation that the good spirits, pure spirits actually, have planned the formation of the earth and the coming of Jesus way before, like millennia before he actually came. A whole preparation. Some people find it strange, such information, and we ask, well, when you travel, don't you plan? Usually we plan. Hopefully we plan it out. 2, when a person who is the leader of a nation is traveling, isn't there a plan ahead of time? Now imagine a pure spirit to be incarnated in a planet that was being formed. So everything is very organized. Even when you build a house, they lay out the plan and the timeline. They can already foresee when the house is going to be ready and when everything is going to be available. Now imagine a planet that is being co-created with God with the help of pure spirits, like Jesus. So Jesus, for us, is the representation of what our destiny is. That's why the Spirit said he is a guide and a model. Some people, sometimes they say, do you want to be like Jesus? Our answer should be, yes, I have to one day, because he's a guide and a model. So our goal is to imitate. God said, go there, may people follow your footsteps in my name. And he said, I have come because God wants me to be here. Join me. If you do what I say, it's easy. It's going to be light. But do we hear it? And we still doubt. We still feel threatened by it. Some people do. And they're upset, even upset, when people try to follow through, which is shocking. I know, it is shocking. Of course it is shocking. But especially when it comes from spiritists. I hear even spiritists saying, but I don't want to be like Jesus. I'm not Jesus. Well, you're saying the obvious. We're not Jesus, but we're supposed to imitate Jesus. And why we're saying this? Because we are on the pathway to celebrating the coming of Jesus to the earth, Christmas time. And every Christmas, in the highest spheres of the earth, they don't celebrate in a petty way. It's deeply reverent, and it's not only words, it's about deeds, doing the good. Right, Teresa Castro? Right, Rihanna, Souza Sunshine. Welcome, friends, to Kardec Radio. These are the ones I can see. I know there are more people I can see, the other ones, but join us. If you want to say something, ask a question, do so. Today, we'll see a lot of hope. You know, the greatest expression of hope was said by Jesus in the Beatitudes. Since the book Hope and Light by several spirits through Chico Xavier ended, because it's only 20 chapters and a preface, and we're on day 22, we're going to complete the series with scattered messages from other books. Today, it's going to be the representation of hope, of all hopes, in the Beatitudes said by our dear Jesus. And you can find this message in the book, Our Daily Bread, by Emmanuel, through Chico Xavier. This book is already into English. You can find it Amazon. And I have here the e-book, as you can see. Beautiful. I love it. And it's so good to have it in my phone because I can browse through it anywhere. Hello, Daisy. How are you? Hello, Nora Brazil. Hello, John the Rosa. Merry Christmas. So, chapter 89 from the book Our Daily Bread by Emmanuel through Chico Xavier. Are you ready? Yes, we are ready. The Beatitudes. Blessed are you when men hate you, when they exclude you, harm you, and reject your name as evil on the account of the Son of Man. Jesus, Luke 6:22. The problem of the Beatitudes requires serious thought before it can be seen as a resolution, as a resolved issue in the area of understanding. Jesus confers the credential of blessedness on followers who share in his afflictions and service. Nevertheless, we must point out that the Master regards sacrifice and suffering as instructive and redemptive blessings. Thus, it is crucial to be able to accept them. This or that person will be blessed for having brought goodness into the midst of material poverty, for finding happiness in simplicity and peace, and for knowing how to maintain a durable and divine hope in his or her heart. But what does sincere adherence to sacred obligations of such a designation entail? In the guidance that characterizes his teachings, the Master is referring to the eternal Beatitudes. However, there are few who approach them with the full understanding of someone who is approaching an immense treasure. If visited by pain, most of the less favored on the earthly plane would rather complain and despair. If invited to demonstrate self-denial, they make improper demands, and instead of working peacefully, they lose themselves in unworthy enterprises of unbridled ambition. Jesus offers many beatitudes. Only a rare few, however, really want them. That is why there are many poor and afflicted people who are in dire need in the world, but who are not yet blessed in heaven. Emmanuel is fantastic, and there's a lot of hope here for us because we are being pointed to a certain direction. Right, Matthew Mills? How are you? Merry Christmas to you too. So, friends, he says that the Beatitudes are beautiful, full of blessings and hope. But we will only get there when we reflect, when we boost discernment and understanding. So let us work together on this. Emmanuel selected, I think, the hardest of them all. Blessed are you when people hate you. Have you been through this experience? And hate you because you embrace these teachings? Yes, of the Christ? Oh yeah, this is so common. Yet, so common on earth. In spite of Christianity being spread out in the world, we're still full of ignorance in regards to it. And people still laugh at people who embrace it. It's sad, but we need to understand where we're in that, which side. So he says, serious thought. So we cannot joke. I mean, here we have to focus and extract the new understanding, as he says. So we will receive the credentials of blessedness, okay, for those who sacrifice and suffer and see the blessings. The other day, I asked Mentor Joseph, why is it so hard to do the good on earth? He said, Vanessa, we're so egotistic on earth. We're still so proud of ourselves that if it were easy, people would scheme even more around it. And I said, well, but some people already do. They create nonprofits, but they take the profit. Even, in so many places using mediumship, people make use of mediumship for their gain. There are people who enter even spiritist organizations with a hidden agenda of networking for their business. I mean, this is really, really serious. Where is our ethical moral standard here? We cannot use a spiritist organization to bring our daily bread to our homes. We can't. To network for anything that is personal to us. So he's saying it's hard to do the good on earth. And yet it's hard because people are still hardened in their hearts in regards to thinking of others. And it's hard because if we really want to do the good, we need to make effort. It's not easy. How often many people think, I want to help. But when you start organizing it, it becomes so complicated. Something that is so easy. I'll give an example. I saw this happening. One time, 2010, I was with a friend in Spain for a spiritist meeting. And we saw a homeless 9 years ago and said, let's buy a sandwich for the homeless. We did. We gave it to the homeless. The minute we turned our backs, the homeless threw the whole sandwich in the trash, but in a very upset way. And I don't recall if we asked about which type of sandwich. I think we did. But I was shocked. But that's obsession. Some spirits don't want even the obsessed ones to eat. Because when they have more energy, they may find ways to be free. That's why many people, when they are deeply obsessed, they can't eat or sleep. They are deprived of sources of renewal, so they don't think clearly and keep themselves, and they're kept enslaved. So I have to be careful. Right, Andrea Cosley? Welcome to Cardiac Radio. So Jesus comforts the credential of blessedness on followers who share in his afflictions and service. Do we? Some people are doing things just to tell people, I'm doing this. And now with social media, people go there and they hug the person who is receiving. They are in the worst condition taking a picture. And some people claim, because I want to encourage other people to do the same. I understand. But we have to be careful in exposing them as well, because they are suffering. And this is not a zoo in which we hug the person who is poor and we take a picture saying, you see how great I am. It's very distressing. So blessed are those who share in the afflictions and the service with Jesus. It is crucial to be able to accept the instructive and redemptive blessings. On earth, doing the good is still very challenging. When it's not challenging, it's a sign that probably it's not that much of a good. And I know the child inside of us just wants to have fun, right? Oh, it's so good, and we're having fun, and we're doing this. But we have to be adults and mature to understand that we're dealing with people. I think sometimes we're taking this more seriously than others because as a psychologist, you see day in, day out so much suffering that you would beg for people to be a little more responsible in the dealing of one another in a daily basis. Let us avoid hurting people. The Dalai Lama wrote a book, and I discovered this book way back when the 21st century was beginning. He wrote a book about the ethical, moral principles for this new millennium, for the 21st century, and for the millennium. I don't remember exactly the name. So he said at some point, all that we need is ethical discipline when we aim at avoid hurting people. But it's so complex because sometimes, for example, if I look at my daughter and she wants something and I say, no, we're not going to do this. She may understand it or not. She may say, Mom, you don't love me. No, I do. That's why we're not going to eat this now. Then she may understand. But some adults are like this. So not necessarily you're hurting your child by saying no, or to a colleague, or to a friend, or to a family member. But we need to do it with loving care. That doesn't mean people will understand us. Look at Jesus. You think we're going to be better than Jesus? We won't. If Jesus to date does not please everyone, why are we going to try being better than Jesus? If Jesus to date don't like him, don't accept him, and even hate him, we see in mediumistic meetings spirits who hate him. And you know why some of them hate him? Because when our planet was being prepared for his coming, many spirits who were very, very, very low order had to be transferred kindly, but transferred to another, well, let's say this way, spiritual city that was prepared for them to keep them there for the preparation centuries before Jesus coming and even some after. When they were released, they were there for 1,000 years. When they were released, that's when we started seeing the Crusades. Where is that information? In a book that is not yet in English, but is validated by several mediums. It's named St. Francis. It's a spiritist mediumistic book. And that book reveals to us that information and much more. But besides that point, if Jesus, our governor, still has, he has all the love of the world, he's the divine representative, is not understood, is misunderstood, is slandered, Why do you think you and I are not going to go through this? So why are you bothering yourself, feeling sad and alone when you realize that people don't understand you? Do you think you're going to be better than Jesus? No, we won't. So give up on that vanity. Let us all give up on that vanity to be liked, to be approved of, okay? To be accepted, because people, we cannot please them to that point. And Jesus explained to us, if you follow me, you will be persecuted. You will be hated. And do you think it only happened to Peter, to John, Paul of Tarsus, Stephen? No. He said to anyone until the end of times. Which times? Times of ignorance. So give up. If we have a wish in 2020, is to give up this illusion that one day we're going to be loved by all, approved by all, approved of by all, accepted by all. We won't. And that doesn't really matter. How do I know? You may say, but Vanessa, doesn't it matter? No, it doesn't matter. When they asked Jesus, what is the most important commandment? He didn't say to be liked, to be loved, to be appreciated. He said, you need to love. Love God above all things. Then love others as you love yourself. So he said, don't expect to be loved. You have to love. But we don't understand it yet because we're still making choices in our daily lives to be loved, to be approved of. People are avoiding to make the right choices because they want to be approved of by somebody who temporarily is in a certain position. Right, Fred Gouveia? It's so good to have you here. Carol Correia, so good to have you here too. So 2020, let us write it down. One wish that we only expect to love, to accept, to approve of, to encourage people. The reverse, I don't care. And we should not care. That doesn't mean we're going to hurt people. That means if they like us, great. If they don't, great. It's not about us. I'm not the center of the universe, and I cannot be the center of the universe because God is. I don't want to change the course of events, right? So he's saying it is crucial to be able to accept them. So the question for us today is assessment. Are we accepting this sacrifice and suffering? Usually, no. Sorry, but that's true. Majority of us like, oh my gosh, this is so complicated. I include myself. I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, a moment of despair. How long is it going to be? Timer, time it up. Okay. 15 minutes, already long. An hour. Okay, breathe in and out. Pray, read a message, talk to a friend. Renewing my hope. This shall pass. This shall pass. This shall pass. This shall pass. And is passing. And this shall pass. Plus, everyone is a child of God. And at the end of the day, being children of God means we're destined to progress. So it's going to pass. Let me do my share. If others don't, but I do. You do. We do. They do. and we keep on going. Beautiful projects ahead of us. These or that person will be blessed for having brought goodness in the midst of material poverty, for finding happiness in simplicity and peace. So he gives a recipe. Will be blessed for bringing goodness when there is material poverty. Are we doing this? Majority of people on earth go through this. For finding happiness in simplicity and peace. Some people are not happy because they're not traveling now. They're like, my friends are traveling, but I'm here. They're at the beach, and I am here in the middle of a snowstorm. Find happiness in simplicity and peace. Aha! And know how to maintain a durable and divine hope in his or her heart. This is the highlight of it all, hope and light. He says, knowing how to maintain that hope. Emmanuel is a master educator. He's saying, to be blessed in the suffering means to know how to maintain this candle of hope illuminated in our hearts all the time. What is your strategy, friend? What is your strategy? Do you know? We need to create strategies by praying, but I would say study. You think Chico Xavier made the sacrifice to publish these 460 plus books just to delight our intellects? No, because that's vanity, and nothing that comes from Chico Xavier aligns with vanity. It's for healing. It's for hope, for joy, to boost our courage. So when we read it, we say, oh, I know we're progressing. I know that God knows what is going through with me. God knows what's going through with you. God knows everything. I'm safe. You know, our reptilian brain, which is the most primitive part, if you think this top part here of the brain inside of the skull is the cortical area, very advanced. But when it goes from here down, we talk about more primitive areas that are very important for our day-to-day survival, but it's called the reptilian brain and midbrain down. So when we don't feel safe, that part of the brain is highly activated, warning us you need to protect yourself. And that's when we feel desperate. Your sympathetic system is activated, the flight or fight, and you need to make decisions. What do? First, remember, we're incarnated, so the fact that we are dressed up in this physical body is a blessing because we can use it to ground us. So hold your body. Remember, you're not discarnated, so hold your body. Breathing deeply with your abdomen. Breathe out slowly. The diaphragm. Abdominal breathing. You think I'm not breathing, right? Because I'm not inflating here. It's abdominal. Okay? So we are activating the counterpart of it all, the parasympathetic, and we are boosting more oxygen, turning off this reptilian brain, turning on the higher brain, which is the cortical areas, giving you oxygen and thinking, God loves me. Animals cannot do this, but we can. God knows everything. God knows what I'm going through. God knows, and if he's allowing it, it's for a good reason. Let me stay put and wait. Like Stephen, in Poland, Stephen. Read it. He was sent to slavery after having had his father murdered and his sister, whom he loved deeply, sent to the streets on her own. They were separated for indeterminate time. Was he desperate? No. He was sent to slavery. He stayed put and said to his colleagues, if God sent us here, it's for a good reason. Read the rest of the book and you see. If he wasn't that calm, resigned, we wouldn't have Paul of Tarsus. Because Paul only happened because we had a Stephen. So, how to maintain a durable and divine hope in our hearts. This is our focus tonight. In finding new strategies to maintain durable and divine hope in our hearts. Durable, that lasts. Divine means it's unshakable. Divine is unbreakable. It's not reachable. It's above everything. How are we going to do this? This is our exercise in the next 24 hours. We're going to do this exercise together, okay? And feel the blessings. He says, in the guidance that characterizes the teachings of Jesus, the Master is referring to eternal Beatitudes. However, there are few who approach them with full understanding. But we are the ones who feel the blessings. Like Stephen, people didn't understand him, didn't applaud him. But for us, he's a hero. And we owe to Stephen our very Christianity, not only to Paul, not only even to Jesus, because Jesus did it with a team. So friends, it is on us to find how to maintain this divine, durable hope in our hearts. Shall we, friends? Yes? Shall we? Thank you, Carol, for helping us summarize the main highlights of Emmanuel's message. So that's our exercise for the next 24 hours as we're counting down, already listening to the joy to the world in the silent night, so we can feel that Christmas spirit. Let us visualize all the people who are suffering deeply now and visualize this beautiful embrace of Jesus onto them, warming their hearts and whispering, "You're loved. Stay strong. Help is in the way. You are not alone." Let us feel it too. And until tomorrow, in hope and light, right, friends? Thank you so much for being here, Gabriel Inácio, Sunshine, Carol Correa, everyone. And until tomorrow, God willing.